Hello, I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man. My guest is Lucy Marlow. Lucy is a senior associate within JMW's intellectual property department. Now, Lucy, JMW recently launched the JM Watch, which is a way to monitor and really to protect intellectual property. And actually, I'll put a link to a video about that in the description for anybody who wants a little bit more information about that. But more generally, can I just ask you, why is it important to protect intellectual property and monitor trademarks?
Yeah, thanks, Dominic. So there are 6 main reasons why you should register and monitor a trademark. First of all, with trademarks, they're extremely valuable. Think of Twitter, which recently sold for £44 billion. Well, most of the value in Twitter rested in Twitter's branding. So that's one of the main reasons to register, monitor, and enforce your brand. But also, if you've got a trademark, it allows you to enforce your brand for less money. It's cheaper to do so because your alternative is passing off, and you'd have to evidence your rights in a passing off claim. And effectively, that means it would take more time to collate that evidence, and it would be more expensive. Whereas in a trademark infringement case, all you have, the main thing that you can do is evidence your rights by virtue of your registration. A big thing about trademarks, that if you have a registration, you can use the R in a circle symbol. And by using that, it should act as a deterrent to infringers. So you've got the deterrent factor. Another big one is that by having a trademark, you will look more attractive to investors and you can increase the value of your business. There's also scope with a trademark to exploit it and make more money. So you may want to think about licensing arrangements, franchising, selling your brand. And another big one is it can also act as a tool in your anti-counterfeiting armory. So it's another useful way, if you're selling products, of cracking down on copycats.
So just hypothetically, if I was to set up a brand or even use some sort of brand name, what would you recommend in terms of protecting them?
So first of all, if you wanted to launch a new brand, or you were thinking, or even if you had one but not a registration, I'd say first of all, take a step back. Instruct your lawyers to review your brand portfolio and strategically advise as to what registrations you should be looking towards. At JMW, we can help with global portfolios, so that's one thing. Then also, it's important to make sure before you file a mark that you've professionally thought about what goods and services you want your mark to cover. And this is quite an important task to do, to ensure that you cover off all current and future use of the brand. But also, once you've gone through that thought process, I would strongly suggest that you don't just crack on and apply. You should do a prior rights search. And what that search will do is look at the registry, see what other marks are on the register and what degree of risk is attached to applying for that particular mark.
And so there will be business owners, people who use brands watching this right now and thinking, hang on a minute, I probably should protect my brand. So how would you do that, and how can you help?
So once you've got your mark secured, so you've got a trademark, I would recommend that you put in place watching services. And here at JMW, we've recently launched JM Watch. And you're going to add a link to your chat on that in the speaker notes. But effectively what that does is it looks for applications for trademarks at the registry, online activities, registrations at companies' house. So all in all, it will alert you to potential infringement, and therefore you can take quick, prompt action to stop that infringement. And if you act quickly, it often costs less, rather than letting another brand get launched and 2 years down the line, when the copycat has already invested in that brand, trying to get them to change. That's much harder. Another thing that I would strongly recommend is, once you've got your brand, if you do come across a copycat, is that you enforce your rights. So get in touch with your lawyer and ask them about where you stand with that particular infringement. And we can then help put in place a strategy to quickly clamp down on that infringement. Typically, it involves sending a cease and desist letter.
And my big takeaway from that, Lucy, there is act quickly as well. That's really important. Thank you very much for your insight. And if you'd like to speak to Lucy, you can email insideman@jmw.co.uk or call 0161 82 81 999. I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man.